For many golf fans, it's the Masters in April that makes Augusta a landmark. But just across the Savannah River in Augusta, Georgia, is North Augusta, South Carolina, a community proud of its tradition and history. The downtown historic area is full of charm, and in its heyday, North Augusta was even in the running with the unknown city of Hollywood, California, to become the next film capital of the world. This week, the best lady golfers in the world will try to tame Mount Vintage Plantation Golf Club. 6,200 yards of beautiful rolling hills, manicured bunkers, picturesque stone walkways, and greens that demand attention. Watch out, there's a new kind of Masters in town, and this time the ladies will call it home.
Hello everyone, I'm Kim Briel. The Masters may have its Amen Corner, but Mount Vintage Plantation Golf Club has this beautiful view from the 14th green to the scenic par 3 15th. This half hour will entertain some of the untold stories of the LPGA.
Just ahead, Korean-born Grace Park on a mission, young and determined. 12-time Tour winner veteran Rosie Jones, her thoughts and challenges after 19 years on tour, and a testament to friendship as a once-a-year caddy brings inspiration to one of the LPGA's own.
It's been 35 years since the LPGA Tour has competed in the Augusta area. For 3 decades, the Title Holders Championship was played at Augusta Country Club. In fact, in 1948, the Title Holders Championship became one of the first women's events to offer prize money to the lady professionals. The total purse was $600. And the likes of Babe Zaharias, Patty Berg, Kathy Whitworth, and Mickey Wright were cashing in on the big bucks in that day. This week, the Asahi Roken International Championship is one of the LPGA's 8th highest in purse money at $1.2 million.
There was an illustrious field for the inaugural Asahi Roken International Championship, but this event was not dominated by the big names. Kari Webb never got untracked and finished at 1 under, 9 shots behind the leaders. Annika Sorenstam began the final round 6 shots off the lead, but the Swedish star put together a charge that got her to within 1 shot of the leaders. But Sorenstam missed her last real birdie opportunity at the par 5 16th, had to settle for a 4th place tie. Sorenstam wasn't the only player making a move. Emily Klein hit a spectacular tee shot on the par 3 7th to set up an easy birdie that moved her to 7 under, 2 shots behind the leaders at that time. Klein later added a birdie on the par 4 14th, finished with a final round 68, good for a 9 under par total, but that would be 1 shot behind the eventual winner. The leader when Sunday's final round began was Chris Shetter, whose 10 under par total was good enough for a 2-shot advantage after 2 rounds of play. Shetter played steadily on the front 9, but Tina Fisher made a pair of birdies and tied Shetter at -10. Meanwhile, Nancy Scranton had leapfrogged Shetter and Fisher and had a 1-shot advantage when she reached the par 5 9th. Scranton hit what appeared to be a great shot, but the ball spun back drastically on the sloping 9th green at Mount Vintage Plantation. Scranton was able to save par at 9, but she made 4 bogeys on the backside and dropped to 7 under and a tie for 6th place. Scranton's struggles on the backside allowed Chris Hansen to jump to the top of the leaderboard, but Hansen bogeyed number 14 from a difficult position behind the sloping green. Hansen also bogeyed at 15, but still finished just 1 shot behind the winner. Second round leader Chris Shetter looked like she might take her first win since 1992 when the day began. But despite this great shot on the par 5 16th, Shetter carded a final round 75 that left her in a tie for 6th place. Playing in the same twosome with Shetter was 29-year-old Tina Fisher, a native of Germany who had played the LPGA Tour in '99 but was relegated to the Futures Tour in 2000. Although Fisher had just 1 previous top 10 this year, she held off every challenger down the stretch after taking a 1-shot lead at number 15. Fisher made a pair of solid par saves to preserve her lead. After coming up short with her approach to the par 5 16th, Fisher putted to within inches of the cup to make par there. Then on the par 4 17th, Fisher hit a delicate chip shot from just off the green to once again save par. That steady play continued on the final hole. Fisher needed 2 putts to win, but almost finished it dramatically with the birdie. she was able to tap in for a final round 2 under 70, good enough for a 10 under total for the 3-day event and a one-shot victory. The win was worth $180,000, which more than tripled her earnings from the first 19 events of this season. After getting congratulatory hugs from Chris Shetter and her caddy, Tina Fisher also received a soda shower from some of her LPGA playing partners. The victory gives Fisher exempt status for next year on the LPGA Tour.
Well, obviously I'm very happy because that's what everybody's trying to, achieve out here, to win. And I did it in the last tournament, of the season, so that's really wonderful. And for me, that means, that I have an exemption for a few years now. I don't really have to worry that much. I can go out and play, make a better schedule, not have to wait, to get into the tournaments, and it's wonderful.
Fisher's victory made her the 4th straight first-time winner on the LPGA Tour.
The LPGA's 1998 Rookie of the Year, Tina Fisher of Germany, stays consistent throughout. Her second round 66 was the booster, as a final round 70 gives her the largest payout of her career and a one-stroke victory over Emily Klein and Tracy Hansen. Hansen also enjoys her biggest check ever at just over $96,000. Lori Kane and Annika both fire 68s in a tie for 4th, and a host of others tied for 6th at 209.
She was the first player since Patty Berg in 1938 to sweep all major amateur championships. And in 1999, she earned exempt status on the LPGA Tour by placing first on the SBC Futures Tour money list. Let's meet Korean-born Grace Park.
I picked up the game when I was 8. Well, I started for the first time, but I didn't really get into it until I was 11. But within a month, my score dropped from shooting 120s to low 90s. So that's when, then. And I was so, I wanted to beat my playing partner so badly that I had that competitiveness even when I was that young.
From the age of 11, Grace Park began honing a game that fellow competitors would soon come to envy. At the age of 15, she was named the American Junior Golf Association's Rolex Player of the Year. And then in 1998, as a freshman at Arizona State University, she was named the Rolex Eleanor Dudley College Player of the Year as she and her teammates won the NCAA National Championship title. In 1998, Grace Park was on top of the world, invincible, winning the Trans Amateur Championship, the Western Amateur, and the coveted U.S. Amateur title. She won a total of 55 national junior, college, and amateur titles.
I was good when I was a junior player and college player and amateur player, but I haven't been too good as a professional, so I'm hoping to get my past momentum back and start good on as a professional.
The expectations were high, titles among titles, and at the age of 20, she was the leading money winner in her first year as a professional on the SBC Futures Tour, granting her entry into the LPGA, where she believed the ride would continue. But it's a difficult stage, and players here ranked the best in the world.
No, it's not about other players, it's about me. I for the first time in my career, my short but not too short career, I was struggling with my swing. That's, you hear so many professionals that struggle because they had little flaws in their swing, but I had just a little bad thing that, prevented me from playing well. Just a lot of doubles and triples and water hazards and OBs, and I'm finally learning that I need to be much, much more precise as a professional than when I was an amateur player. And, I'm still young, I'm still learning.
The statistics do reveal some of her shortcomings in this arena, but most would applaud a ranking of 34th on the money list at almost $350,000 this year. And in 2 years as a professional, she has won twice.
I think, it's such a tough life out here. I don't know. I mean, every player goes through a cycle of, good and bad, and I just don't feel like I've reached that good point yet, but I've experienced plenty of bad areas down below the cycle, so I'm just hoping to improve on that.
She's been crowned the glamour girl of the LPGA. Her innocent demeanor and electrifying smile captures the approval of almost every gallery. This new lifestyle on the LPGA stage takes a little getting used to, and she'll admit.
It's like living a little gypsy life at times.
Is it lonely?
It does get very lonely. I get lonely. I need people around me, and I do, but it's something every person with this job has to get used to and learn to deal with it.
She's determined that she will one day be recognized as the best female golfer in the world. And with her competitive drive, no one should count her out.
Superstitions: I always mark my ball with a 1977 quarter. I always have a Diet Coke in the morning before I play. And across the railroad, in the car, you gotta touch the screw and lift your feet.
Oh yeah, don't play with number 3 balls. Do not play with number 3 balls. I don't know what it is. It started in college.
The numbers on my golf balls start on Thursday and go 4, 3, 2, 1 to Sunday. So.
As one of 8 children, our next Inside Profile is no stranger to competition. With 12 LPGA Tour victories to her credit and a 4-time Solheim Cup selection, Rosie Jones is still making a splash.
Oh yeah. I came from a family of 8 kids, and we were very athletic, and I played a lot of softball, basketball, ran track all the way through high school, and then by the time I got into college, I gave up everything, and I just kind of fell into it, and thank God, because I got a scholarship to Ohio State University, where I probably never would have gone to college without my golf. And
graduating in 1982 as an All-America, Rosie knew exactly what she was going to do with her life.
I never had any doubt as far as where I wanted to go with my golf, but I really hadn't won any big junior golf tournaments or big collegiate golf tournaments or amateur events or anything, or had even placed well in them until I was probably a junior and senior in college. So it took me a long time to really pursue, or to start to get the fruits of all the work that I had put into it up to then, and it was perfect timing, because by the time I got out of college, I really wanted to turn pro.
Rosie's first year on tour was in 1982, where her best finish was a tie for 28th. It took 6 years for her to post her first professional victory. And once breaking the ice, Rosie knew just what it took to get into the winner's circle. The next year, Rosie was a 3-time winner on tour, and her performance in '88, along with steady play in '89, got her a spot on the 1990 United States Solheim Cup team. Jones would also play on the '96, '98, and 2000 teams for her country.
When I go and play on the Solheim teams, I've been on 4 teams, and those have always been my proudest moments, playing for my country, and it's just been a big thrill.
12 victories spanning over 14 years on tour. Perhaps this 40-year-old could be content with the achievements of the past, and presently she can boast of a season that puts her in the top 10 on the money list at just over $700,000.
I'm still in the hunt for a major golf championship. I think that's it's not a make or break my career, but it's disappointing. I've been so close over especially the last few years, and come out without any, but I think that's the only one disappointment I can think of.
There are many who look at Rosie Jones as a role model, as she exemplifies the model athlete who may admit that more hard work and determination went into her achievements than that of a great gift which handed her those titles. She too looks at those in the public eye who've overcome great odds in a quest to achieve.
Tina Turner. Do you see those legs on that chick? She's what, 60? Yeah.
She was dancing and she was awesome.
She was probably 50 then. But no, she's come a long way from, you know, a very, very tough life, and you know, I just have a lot of respect for that.
The Lpga was chartered in 1950, and now, 51 years later, it's the longest-running women's sports organization. Peggy Kirk Bell of Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club was a part of this history and this standard of excellence we now respect. This week, our corner of history is the Belle of Southern Pines.
In the 1940s, she won the Ohio Women's Amateur 3 times, won the famed North-South Amateur in 1949 in Pinehurst, won the Eastern Amateur, the Augusta title holders, played as an alternate on the 1948 Curtis Cup team, and played as a full member 2 years later.
The greatest thrill in golf for me was playing on the United States Curtis Cup team. That was my goal.
The big names in women's golf back then were, of course, Patty Berg, who was the very first female to be salaried by a sporting goods company to promote their product, and Wilson had them a good one.
And I watched her, and she said, "Now I will hit one from right to left." And I thought, she knows where it's going. You know, I just tried to hit it.
The other big name, of course, the Babe Diedrichson Zaharias, first famed for her accomplishments in the Olympics and later for making her mark in golf.
And Babe, I can remember sitting in a room with Babe, and she'd say, call up some guy, and she'd say, "Hey, Bill," he said, "how about putting on a women's tournament?" And he said, "Well, how much?" And she said, "Well, how about $2,000? And I'll bring the girls."
And that was the beginning of the Lpga, and a friendship that still to this day brings a twinkle to the eye as Peggy Kirk Bell reflects back.
She won the Athlete of the Year, and she's in New York, and she's getting this award, and of course there wasn't television or anything, and they said, "Well, Babe, what are your plans?" And she said, "I believe I'll play in the Men's Open." And of course they shot out of that room, and Babe's gonna play in the Men's Open. She had no intentions of playing in it, but she loved to give them a story.
I kind of think you make your own luck out there. I guess the only thing that I do have, if you have a ball that's going in the hole you're making a lot of putts with, I tend to keep playing with that ball. Even if it's not round anymore and the paint's chipped off of it, I'll keep playing with that ball. I won't take it out of play. So I like a ball that likes the dark.
I used to carry a 64 silver quarter, but once I reached that, I carry a 59 silver quarter now, hoping I'll reach that goal someday.
I have a lot. I should say I had a lot. But I think the biggest thing I have, it's not really a superstition. I really like to play with a ball repair tool that I have. So I don't go out without that. And I always say, you know, a private prayer before I go out. So if I don't do both of those things, I kind of feel a little out of kilter out there.
The Lpga's Karen Weiss is 56th on the money list, but this next story isn't about her position on that list, but rather her rank in a very special friendship. While Karen was fighting to make the Lpga Tour, Pat was fighting to save her life. Now, this story isn't a focus on that battle, but by losing her left arm to cancer, it does make this week's story and Pat's job a little tricky for both player and caddy.
Well, I think it was something like, could I ever caddy for you? If I get the opportunity. I think it went something like that.
Yardages, slopes on the green, incidentals like the landing areas, sloping one way or the other, ridges on greens and low areas and bunkers, all of which caddies must make their second nature.
Let's see, I'm supposed to clean the handles on the club, which I was told and forgot about today, and take care of the clubs and keep them clean and have all the balls ready when they hit the practice. And obviously I can't even think of all the things I'm supposed to be responsible for.
Pat Cooper is looping for tour veteran Karen Weiss. Weiss is currently 56th on the money list. The two met some 10 or 12 years ago, playing competitive golf against each other in the state of Minnesota. Now this reunion happens once a year for a select tour event.
You know, what an inspiration she has been to so many players in the state of Minnesota. And so for me, you know, to have her come out here and strap the golf bag on and you know, again, be willing to kind of put herself in that situation. We're fortunate. We haven't had rain yet to deal with. You know, I mean, there are some possibilities, but for me, it's a great, you know, it's a great change of pace, and I get to kind of remember, you know, how fortunate I am, number one, to be doing this for a living, and number two, you know, that I am pretty good at this game, but all things being equal, you know, what she's done with golf is far beyond what I will ever achieve.
When we actually play, she'll take the towel and go clean her own ball because I'll be running over and getting things situated. So, no, it takes a more helpful player.
Karen has scaled down from her tour bag to a small carry bag with a stand. The two will have to work together from the smallest of tasks, like Karen cleaning her own ball, to helping Pat strap the bag on her back. Karen believes she gains more than she loses on this week.
She's so mentally tough on the golf course that she'll be cracking the whip on me to stay focused out there. And that's the thing that I gain in the equation. You know, the little things about how we manage, you know, cleaning the golf ball are pretty minor compared to what I actually gain from her in that mental focus that she has.
A focus so intense that this one-armed caddy is one of the best amateurs in her state. Pat is a 4 handicap in Minnesota, and the dedication and discipline she adheres to will carry over in helping her friend as she earns the title of caddy.
Well, you know, the caddy's always thinking ahead. I'm a player, so I think like a player. And a lot of times Karen will have to kind of nudge me. When we started the round, I was looking for my golf glove. I was getting ready to hit. I was having a hard time with the concept of what her needs are. And a good caddy is always thinking ahead of what the player's needs are.
3 times gone, 1 cut made, and a top 25 finish. A goal they will set their sights on next year.
It shouldn't be any surprise who's at the top of the LPGA season money list. At just over $1.6 million is Annika Sorenstam. Sayri Pak is just about a win and a top 10 behind Sorenstam at $1.3 million. And Kari Webb is the only other player to cap the $1 million mark in 2001.
We've enjoyed getting to know the girls. Hope you have. And we'll see you next time right here on Inside the LPGA.